behind. On the 26th of June 1976, a terrorist group fighting for the liberation of Palestine hijacked an aeroplane, a jet airliner in Athens, Greece. They forced the pilot to go to Uganda. The plane landed at the Entebbe airport in Uganda, and at that time the president of Uganda was a man called Idi Amin, who was pro-Palestine. So he came out and he actually praised the hijackers. The hijackers eventually, a lot of the passengers go. There were 250 of them on board, but they kept the Israeli passengers. There were 91 Jews on board. They kept them. But at this time, they thought they had everything under control. They thought everything was going well. They were going to keep these hostages till they released the prisoners, the Palestinian prisoners. What they didn't know was that very, very far away in Israel, 2,500 miles away, Commando Special Ops, elite force, were busy boarding a few military aircraft. So this is where they were in Athens. They came down to Uganda. Everyone said, little grandpa, that's Uganda. And now the Israelis are boarding up here. The best they've got. They sent them down. This is a good, real photograph of one of the commando team. This is a special ops Israeli team that they sent. They went down in the cover of nightfall. They actually landed in Kenya next door. So the cover of nightfall, they ran into Uganda. They invaded and attacked the airport. They killed the Uganda guards. They killed the hijackers and managed to free every one of those Israeli passengers. This was hailed as a great success for Israel. The President hailed this as one of the greatest rescue missions ever, and it was a great blow against the Palestinian terrorist group also. But this is not the first time that Israel managed to pull off a great success of a rescue mission of this type. To be quite true, and in fact the first one is actually held right in the Bible, in the book of Genesis. So if you have your Bibles, we can open up and read about the first rescue mission. We're going to read from Genesis 14, we're going to read verses 14 to 16.
When Abraham heard of his relative had been taken captive, he called out the 318 trained men born in his household, and went in pursuit as far as Dan. During the night, Abraham divided his men to attack them, and he routed them, pursuing them as far as Hobah, north of Damascus. He recovered all the goods and brought back his relative Lot, and his possessions together with the woman and the other people.
Thank you, God bless you. We're reading about a rescue mission of Abraham, but to get a background information about the story, we've got to go a little bit back. So we're going to go back to last week. Remember last week we spoke about Abraham. God called Abraham from where? Do you remember the town? It was called the Chaldeans. And then he went to a place called where? Haran. Yeah, he went to Haran. And then he finally went down into Canaan. But God said, this is the place I'm going to bless you with. You'll have a big nation and you'll be a big generation. This is going to be the country that I'm going to bless you. So he went down there, but then a famine hit. And then where did he go to? Egypt. He went down to Egypt, and Abraham became the first pimp on the Bible. Yes, because he pimped his wife out. Remember, his wife actually married the Pharaoh. And he got a lot of riches, and he got a lot of cattle and camels and sheep and dogs and everything he got. And then after this, God eventually put a plague on the Pharaoh and his household. And the Pharaoh called Abraham and said, Abraham, listen, you tricked me, man. You said this woman Sarah was your sister, but she's actually your wife. So take your wife, take all your possessions, and go back home. So he done. He packed up all his goods, and he went back to Bethel. And that's where we end off, in Bethel, back in Canaan. So now he's back there, but as you can see, he's a very well-revered, respected man in the area. He's got a lot of wealth and possessions. And him and Lot, his nephew, start fighting over the sheep and the goats, because the shepherds are fighting, saying, no, listen, your goats are on my land, and you're stealing my sheep, and I'm stealing your sheep, and that fight broke out. So this is what actually happens at the end of that chapter, which was chapter 13. It says this. So Lot chose for himself the whole plain of the Jordan and set out towards the east. The two men parted company, that being Abraham and Lot. Abraham lived in the land of Canaan, while Lot lived among the cities of the plain, pitched his tents near Sodom. Now the men of Sodom were wicked and were sinning greatly against the Lord. So what happens is, Abraham calls Lot and says, listen man, we family, we relatives, we brothers. Let's not fight about this. I'll tell you what, you go and choose for you any place you want. This all came in his house, man. God has promised this whole land to me. Pick any place you want and I'll pick opposite. If you go right, I'll go left. If you go right, I'll go left and right. He said, any place you want. So Lot looks over the land and he sees the plains of Sidon, which is where Sodom is. And it's a beautiful, well-watered, fertile valley. Today the area is actually a big salt sea, which is called the Dead Sea. If you're familiar with the Dead Sea in Israel, that's the area now. But at that time it was a beautiful, well-watered plain. So Lot says, listen, I want that area down there. So he goes down to Sodom and he pitches his tent near Sodom. Eventually, in time, he moves into Sodom. And he lives in the city there. Abraham, he goes the other way. He says, okay, you've picked your land, so I'm going to go this way, I'm going to go this way. And he goes up to a place called Hebron. Hebron is a beautiful place. Do you ever realize that the place, Hebron, the name, is very similar to Hebrew? Do you notice that? Hebron in Hebrew. It's the same name, actually. That's where the Hebrews come from. Hebron is called the land of the Jews because of that name, Hebron. So anyway, he goes to Hebron, and the first thing he does is he builds something. What does he build? An altar. You're right. Everywhere he goes, that's what I love. The only thing I love about Abraham at this point is he loves to build altars. Bethel built an altar. He goes to Hebron, he builds an altar. Remember I told you that altar is like the church. I see this, his time out. After he's traveling, he came to Hebron, he built his altar, and he said, listen, let's get together, we're going to dedicate this time to God. We're going to worship Him, honor Him, and pray. We're going to sing songs to Him. This is our time. Let's build ourselves an altar. This is what we're doing every week. We come to church and we're dedicating this time to God, saying, out of the busy schedule, this is our time, and we're going to just dedicate it to you. We're going to love you, honor you, we're going to praise you, pray together, praise together. So this is what he done. He built his altar. So he was in Hebron, deep in Canaan, and Lot was down in the south there by a place called Sodom. So while this is happening on the floor, there's another big macro thing happening outside of that, and that is a war. If you've ever heard on the First World Wars, this would have been it. What happened was they were divided between kings of the north and kings of the south. The kings of the north were the strong guys, and they always held rule over the whole land, and the kings of the south were actually always subject to them. So let me show you where they are. The kings of the north of these areas here, it's Elam, Shinar, remember Shinar? The plains of Shinar, which how Babel was. And then you get a place called Elasa and Goyim. So these are the kings of the north. These are the big guys, and they had sway over all of this land. Alright? And for 12 years, these guys at the bottom were subject to the kings of the north. But eventually the kings of the south got upset. They can say, listen, we're sick of being slaves to these guys. Let's rise up and rebel against them. So that's what they've done. The kings of the south is a small little part at the bottom of the Dead Sea. Really no match for those big kings. It's these guys here in the bold black. Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, Zeboim, and Zoar, or it's called Bela. So these 5 kings here at the bottom of the Dead Sea, they were saying, listen, we're sick and tired of being slaves to these guys. Let's rise up and revolt. So they done. So they formed an alliance. These 5 kings. And they said, let's go and fight against the 4 kings up north. So they all gathered here in the valley of Sidon. So you can imagine what happens. You have 5 kings, 5 armies against 4. You might think they actually have the better odds. But unfortunately, these guys were no match for the armies of the north. They came down and they just plundered and conquered. All of these cities were conquered. They took all their possessions, all their women, all their men, all their sheep, all the goats, all the camels. They conquered and killed everyone in it, and anything that was still alive, they took as their possessions. But one man survives, and he runs and he escapes. And he escapes from Sodom, and he runs all the way to a man called Abraham. Abraham is called the Hebrew, because at this point, the Hebrew nation wasn't really started yet. It started with Abraham, really. So it wasn't, and they called him the Hebrew. This man runs to Abraham and says, Abraham, the Hebrew, listen, things have gone up really south. We had a revolt and we tried to rebel against the northern kings. They came down, they conquered us, they killed everyone. They conquered Sodom, they took all the possessions, and oh yeah, they took your nephew. What was his name? And at this, when I was reading the scene, I just pictured the Godfather. Anybody seen the Godfather? Who's seen the Godfather? Only me. Some of us, yeah. Because Abraham was like this respected, well-known guy, like the prince of the area. He was like the Godfather. So this guy thought, the only man I can go to that will help me is the Godfather. So he runs up to Abraham. I can imagine Abraham being like this. You come to me with this problem. You tell me God has been taken. What must I do? What must I do? I'll tell you what, I'll give them an offer. They can't refuse. No, you know that one. So he does. So Abraham, without hesitation, he does one decisive action. He says, I'm going to get Lot. So he gathers together men in his own household, his own tribe, with a big family at this time. 318 men. It's not really a lot though, is it? 318 compared to these armies of the north. But these were well trained, special ops guys, trained by Abraham himself, his own household, 318 Navy SEALs, Green Berets. They were the best elite commanders that you could ever get. He calls them together and says, guys, you're going to get a fight. But he knows he can't do it alone. He needs alliances. So when he lives in Hebron, there's a couple of people around in 3 other towns, cities and kings. So he goes to them and says, listen, do you want to form an alliance with me? We're going to attack the guys to the north. I've got 300 men. How many men do you have? And believe it or not, they actually go ahead with him. So no, it's fine. We'll gather with you. Because they knew that Abraham had something that nobody else had. He had the power of God in his life. This is the man who worshipped Yahweh, who spoke to God, built altars to God. They knew if there's anybody that's going to help them, it would be Abraham. Because they knew they were going to be next. So they formed an alliance with him. And they decided, okay, let's go up. Let's attack the people of the north. And in this great, great war, 300 men versus army of thousands, you know what happened? Abraham actually defeated them. Just like at the Uganda airport, under cover of nightfall, Abraham sent his men in, divided them up, and they attacked. It was so decisive the victory that the people actually, anybody was alive, ran. They escaped and ran north. Did Abraham leave them? No, he chased them. He chased them right up to Damascus. He was going to leave no man unturned. He was going to kill the guys that done this, and he was going to get everybody back. And he done. He got all the possessions back. He got all the women back, all the men back. Lot, his family. And he brought them all back down to Sodom where they could live. A great victory. Even the kings of the area came out to greet him. This is what it says. In Genesis 14 it says, after Abraham returned from his victory over a man called Ked, how do you say that? Kedormirna? And his allies, did you get that? Kedormirna? And his allies, the king of Sodom, went out to meet him in the valley of Savannah. This is the king's valley. And Melchizedek, the king of Salem, and the priest of God and Most High, brought Abraham some bread and wine. Does bread and wine ring any bells? No, not yet. We'll get to that in a second. Bread and wine. So 2 kings come out to greet him. The king of Sodom comes out to meet him. But it's not really just he says, hey, thank you, Abraham, great job. He actually comes to get his possessions back. He says, Abraham, meet me in the valley. Thank you, great job. But listen, all that stuff you got, Abraham wants to meet. So he comes to take from Abraham. King of Sodom comes and he greets Abraham and says, I want to take what you've got. But there's another king that comes even before that, and he's the king of Salem. Salem is the ancient name of Jerusalem. Everybody say Jerusalem.
Jerusalem.
And now if you pronounce it like this, Jerusalem, it sounds different, doesn't it? That's it, because Salem is the Hebrew word for peace. That's where the Hebrew word shalom comes from. Shalom Salem. So king of Salem, this is the ancient, this is before Jerusalem. The Jerusalem we know, David and Solomon. This is before that, there were a tribe running it called the Jebusites. And they were in Salem. There was a king there, a certain king. His name was Melchizedek. Everybody say Melchizedek. Oh, what a beautiful word, Melchizedek. He came out and he blessed Abraham. He said, blessed are you, Abraham. And blessed is the God, the most high God of all gods, the creator of heaven and earth, Yahweh. You might think that Abraham was the only person in the world that actually worshipped God, but it's not true. There were other people that also followed, honored, worshipped, and prayed to Yahweh, our God. And that's what it was. He came out to him and he said, blessed are you, blessed is the God who gave you this victory. And here, I'm going to give you something. I'm going to give you bread and wine. Remember Sodom, the king of Sodom came and he wanted to take. Melchizedek comes and says, Abraham, I'm going to give you something. And now this guy, Melchizedek, is such a mysterious figure because we read about him again in Genesis 14, and then he disappears. Gone from the history books for 2,000 years. And eventually he pops up in the New Testament. In the last book of Paul. Anybody know what that book is? The book of Hebrews. The last book that Paul wrote was the book of Hebrews. And he mentions the same man Melchizedek. After 2,000 years of disappearing from history, this is what he says about him. Hebrews 7. This Melchizedek is mentioning the same person that we just spoke about in Genesis 14. Is a king of Salem and a priest of God. He was a king and a priest. You don't get many of those. Hardly any. You don't get anybody that's a priest, like a high priest, and a king. This man was both. It says he met Abraham returning from his defeat of the kings and blessed him. Gave him a tenth of everything. First, the name means, this is Paul speaking, first his name means king of righteousness. Then also he's the king of Salem, meaning the king of peace. Salem means peace. So he's the king of peace. But his name, it says his name means a king of righteousness. And let me give you some Hebrew lessons, Hebrew 101. The name Melchizedek is a combined Hebrew name. You know the Afrikaans people like to give their children combined names of the mother and father? Are you familiar with that? Yeah, this is a Hebrew name. It's two words that are put together to give one name. So Melchizedek, that great, great name, is from two Hebrew words. Malek, everyone say Malek? Malek. Means king. And the second word is Zedek. Everybody say Zedek. Zedek. Means righteousness. Isn't that awesome? So his name, Melchizedek, means king of righteousness. So Paul was saying this guy Melchizedek is a king of righteousness and he's a king of peace because he's from Salem. Without mother or father, without beginning of days, days of end of life, like the Son of God. The Son of God is Jesus. He remains a priest forever. In the whole book of Hebrews, Paul's talking about the sacrifices, the Levitical priesthood, and in all of this he's saying, Jews, I know you do all these things, but all of this is pointing to one thing, and it's pointing to Jesus. He's the ultimate sacrifice. You don't need the priest then to go and intercede for you because Jesus became our high priest. He intercedes for us. We come to Jesus to get to the Father. The whole book was Paul pointing to Jesus. And in that, right in the middle of it, he mentions this man Melchizedek. And he says the same thing. You've heard of Melchizedek, guys. He's in Genesis 14. But that guy was also pointing to Jesus. He was a type. He was a representation of Jesus Christ because he was a king of righteousness, a king of peace. Not only was he the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, but he was also the high priest. And that's what he was referring to. So this man Melchizedek represents Jesus. And remember that part I told you? What did Melchizedek give to Abraham? Bread and wine. Oh, the communion. Did anybody pick that up? Was it only me? Listen, you got that job? The communion, the wafer and the bread and wine. So that is, when I read that, the first thing I thought about was communion, the Lord's Supper. And that's what it was about. And then when you read what Paul said, you put it all together, and yes, it represents Jesus. Jesus came to give us the bread and wine. It says on the night he was betrayed, he broke the bread and gave thanks and said, this is my body that was broken for you. And the wine, he gave thanks and he drank it. He said, this is my blood that was spilled for you. And here Melchizedek, Genesis 14, speaks about the gospel of Jesus. The Lord's Supper that we so often do, so often we do in this church, was found in Genesis 14. It just boggles my mind that way back in Genesis 14, God has put this wonderful story of the gospel of Jesus in. Remember the king of Sodom? He came to take. That represents the devil, Satan, the evil one. He just wants to take from you. He wants to meet you and greet you, but he wants to give you nothing. The devil only wants to take everything you've got. He wants to take your faith. He wants to take your joy, your peace. He wants to take everything you've got. He just wants to take and take and take. But Jesus comes and says, no, no, no. I want to give. I want to give you everything I have. I want to give you my very life. My body and blood, I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you life and life in abundance, Jesus says. So right in Genesis 14, in that little story, two kings meet Abraham. Wow, what a deep story it is, and it reflects the representation of the king of Sodom who wants to take Satan. And Melchizedek, who represents none other than Jesus Christ himself, who comes to give and give in abundance. So after this, what happens? He wants a great victory. And he comes back home and everyone goes back to their places and they're loving God, they're worshipping God. And there's one main principle that throughout this whole passage or this chapter in 14, in Genesis 14, and that is simply this. The title of the message is No Man Left Behind. When they came to him and said, Abraham, your nephew Lot has been taken. He didn't even blink an eyelid. He said, I'm going to go get that man back because he's my brother, he's my relative, he's my nephew. I'm going to stop at nothing until I get that one man back into my household. Lot represents those Christians that we know, that are maybe not in church today. They were good Christians that started the journey of faith well, but somewhere along the line, because of circumstance or sickness or loss of life or just disillusionment by the church, by ministers or whatever, they just swayed from the faith. And now there's Christians, brothers and sisters that we know that are not in church today. They're out there. They're living their own life, far from the things of God, far from His blessing. They are our soldiers because they are in the same army we are. We are all in this battlefield of life. The Christian life is not a playground, it's a battlefield where we fight day in and day out. Ephesians talks in length about this. That's why we must wear the armor of God to fight against principalities and powers. So we have Christians that we know. And it's not only in this church. You see the empty chairs today. These are people that were here. Some are, they're not here today. Have you been like Abraham and said, listen, where are these people? Do you even care that they're not here? There's people in your own family, in your own sphere of influence, in your workplace, or in your family life, or your friends' life, that were Christians, but now that they're strayed so far from the back. Are you caring and concerned about them? That you'll be like Abraham and say, listen, I know this guy and I love this guy, and I'm going to go find him, I'm going to bring him back to the faith. No man left behind. There's people that we know out there that are hurting, that are broken, that are just waiting for Christians to come and say, listen, I love you, man. What happened to you? God still's got a plan for your life. Can you come back to the faith? But believe in Him out there. Believe in our injured shoulders out there on the battlefield, dying. And they're going to end up eventually getting so far away from God that they're going to not get into heaven because of you. Can we be like Abraham? Can we say, listen, I'm going to gather everything I've got. While I'm standing, while I've got resources in my disposal, I'm going to go find these lost Christians. Remember the sheep? 100 sheep, one goes away. He goes to find that one. Because every Christian in the body of Christ is important. And we write people off so often, don't we? Because we judge them, and we condemn them, and we criticize them. Those Christians that have fallen away, we call them backslidden. That's just a negative word. I hate that word, backslidden. It means you fall back into the world. And we condemn, oh, look at that person. Sure, he was in church, and I look what he's doing now. He's drinking. I saw him there in Galaxy. He's gambling. And we're so quick to criticize him. Why don't we show love, the love of God in us? Why don't we go to these people and say, listen, I know you're going through things, man. I know you went through a divorce or a sickness, or I know you got delusion, but listen, God still loves you and still got a plan. Why don't you come to church with me? Or why don't you get some tracts or get something? Just WhatsApp, just phone and do something like Abraham done. Don't just sit back and watch your brothers and sisters, those soldiers in the army of the Lord, just waste away out there. And I'm not asking you to bring them to church, don't get me wrong. I don't want you to bring them to this church. There's two things I'll never promote in this church. One is money, and the second thing is church. Because money will never ever save you, and the church will never ever save you. I want you to bring those people to God. Because He's the one that can make a difference in your life. He's the only one that can change you and bring you to the place where God needs you to be. I can't do that. The church can't do that. But it all starts with you and me getting up off of these things. What are these things called? Platts. Getting off another thing and going to these people and saying, listen, I love you, man. Where have you been? I care about you. You know what? There's people out there that just want Christians to stand up. They just want Christians to stand up and say, listen, I'm a real Christian and God loves me so much, I'm going to show that love to you. People are waiting for Christians to do that. They're waiting for Christians to go to them and say, listen, I'm a genuine Christian. I'm not those who criticize and condemn and judge people. I love you, man. I really love you with the love of Christ. And when they see that, man, they're going to come back to God. But what happens? We sit in our rosy little ivory towers in church and we leave them out. We rather judge and condemn. Today I need you to understand that there is no man left behind. We need to go out there and find those Christians. Bring them back to God. Secondly, down the line, if you want to invite them to church, go ahead. We've got a big church, we need to fill those pews. Alright, but that is not the primary target. The primary goal is to bring them to God. You need to show them the love of Christ. Jesus died for you. That you can get no greater love than that. If you can just show some of that love to somebody else. There's people out there today, Christians, that are broken, hurting, bleeding. And they're just waiting for you to be their miracle. Can you be their miracle? Can you reach out to them and say, listen, I love you, man. And I'm not going to leave you out there. I'm going to do everything I can to bring you back. And when you brought that one back, you go around and get another one. I saw this movie called Hacksaw Ridge. Anybody seen it? Heard of it? Hacksaw Ridge. It's a movie that's last year. It's a movie directed by Mel Gibson. Anybody know Mel Gibson? Yeah, Mel Gibson. He directed Braveheart and Passion of the Christ. He directed this movie called Hacksaw Ridge. It's a true story based on the life of a man called Desmond Doss. This is Desmond Doss. When World War II broke out, he enlisted into the army. A young 18-year-old chap enlisted into the army. He wanted to serve his country and he wanted to do it well. There was only one problem. He wouldn't carry a rifle. And he wouldn't kill anyone. Kind of defeats the purpose of going to army and going to war, isn't it? He wouldn't carry a rifle. And this stems from two things. First of all, he was a Christian. Second of all, when he was young, his father was a very abusive drunk. Really drunk and really abusive. One day there was a fight between his uncle and his father pulled out a gun, a pistol. And his mother managed to get the gun away in a spike and give it to young Dawes, who was a young little boy. And he took this gun, trembling, and put it in the cupboard. And from that day, he vowed he will never ever touch a gun again. Touch a rifle, anything with a bullet, he'll never ever touch it. So he went to the army and he said, listen guys, I'm here to join, I'm here to do this, I'm ready to go, but I'm not going to carry a rifle. I want to be a medic. He says, I want to be a medic, I want to go help people. I've come here to save lives, not to take lives. But they didn't understand that. They called him a conscientious objector, which means that you object towards the war. He said, no, it's not that. I want to serve. I want to go into war. I just don't want to carry a rifle. So you know what they done? They put him into a rifle barracks, where all he had to do was use a rifle. And he said, but this is wrong. So he actually appealed to the courts and he went to the military court. Eventually, they grudgingly made him a medic. But even that, through the basic training, he still had to go to the barracks. And the guys made fun of him. They used to try and force him to carry the rifle and the gun. And then while he was praying, they used to throw him with their boots. Nice. Imagine you praying, somebody throws you one of those big army boots. Anybody been to army yet? You know how big his boots are? Yeah, so they used to make fun of him, but he took rose about it. Great day came, the 5th of May, 1945, Okinawa, Japan. What happened is that they landed at what's called the Okinawa Escarpment, which is a great mountain and then a plateau. And the Americans were landed at the bottom. They had to climb up the mountain and then go across the plateau to where the Japanese people were, the Japan army. So as they got on, the Japanese were very clever. You know what they done? They just waited till all the Americans got on top. You know what they done? Open fire. Killed thousands. Many were wounded, fallen down. They got so bad, the onslaught, the Americans couldn't even get in. They got so bad that the Americans had to retreat and climb down the mountain. But the Japanese people didn't know that the Americans had Desmond Doss. This man who didn't even carry a rifle. He stayed behind. He was a medic. He said, no, I'm going to go down. There's people there that need me. My brothers are out there and they're wounded. They're not dead. They're just wounded. They need me to go and help them. So when all the Americans retreated and went down the mountain, Desmond Doss, in the face of the coming onslaught, bombs and rifles and grenades being going off, he went right back to the battlefield, one man alone. And he went to that one person that was hurt. And he brought him back to the escarpment, the edge of the escarpment. And then he went to another man, even as big as you are. This guy wasn't a big man, he was scrawny like me. But he picked big man up like that and he carried him back. Remember, all the Americans were gone at this time. How was he going to get them down? Do you know what he done? He tied a rope around him and around like the tree that he had there, and he led them down one by one, down a mountain. Desmond Doss, this guy that was a coward, they mocked him and made fun of him. How did you ever save us in a war? And when he let that one man down, he went and got another man. And he got this guy, said, hey, listen, you find it, you come. And he put him on his shoulders and he carried him back. And then he put the rope around him and he carried him down. 12 hours later, 12 hours throughout the night, he done this. And at the end, he saved 75 people's lives. 75. How many people have you saved in your life? 75. For so heroic that he was actually awarded the Medal of Honor. This is Truman, President Harry Truman, awarding Desmond Doss the Medal of Honor, the highest award you can get in the military. You don't get a higher award than that. And this is a man that didn't carry a rifle. He didn't fire one bullet. He ran into the army, and he ran there with his Bible, faith, and courage. And he saved 75 people's lives. Because he understood this principle. It was almost like he was reading Genesis 14 before he went out there. He said, Abraham could do it. This is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to leave my brothers out there. I'm going to go get them. I'm going to bring them back. Because that's how important they are to me. That's how important they are to God. If we can just have a little bit of what Desmond Doss said. Can you be like Abraham today and just go out there? Don't waste time. Go out there and reach out to one of those fallen soldiers, your fallen brothers and sisters, and bring them back to the faith. Can you be like Desmond Doss and do the same? There's people out there important. They're brothers and sisters. They're not only important to you, but God still's got a beautiful, blessed plan for their life. Their life can turn around 180 degrees. If it was just for you, we'd reach out to them with a bit of love, care, and compassion. But you're not doing it. This message is to get you off of your butts and to get you to go out on the battlefield and bring those fallen brothers and sisters back. There was one prayer that he said, and that was, Lord, let me get one more. After he saved one person, he put him down and he said, Lord, let me get one more. And you know what he done? He went back and he got one more. And when he came back and let that guy down, he said, Lord, let me get one more. And God gave him the strength and the courage to get one more. Your prayer this week is simple. Lord, let me get one more. And once you got that person, boy back to God. You go out and you get another one. You go out there until you have no strength left. But that won't happen because God will give you the strength. If this little scrawny man can save 75 people's lives, what won't God do with you when you just step up to the plate? Say, God, here I am, I'm available, use me. I'm going to go reach out to those people. Whatever you do, do it to the glory of God. Your simple prayer is this: Lord, let me get one more. I'm going to end